Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Tell us where you're checking in from this morning, what you're drinking, get your questions in. We're going to get to all those here in a little bit. But first, guys, it's the anniversary of something. 20 years ago today, a new term was born, that term being Bomard.
By Brian Robeson. Brian obviously does our post-game show whenever he's available as well. So I sent that photo or that video that you posted on Twitter over to him this morning. Blake, I'll let you guys know if he writes me back during the show or what have you. But I'd like to see that again this weekend. I'll tell you that much. The Sooners, the line changing and flipping and everything going on right now. Who's going to start for them at quarterback? A big question mark. The first injury report comes out tonight, right? So be aware of that, not just for OU, but also for Texas. As of right now, we do expect Parker Livingston, Manny Muhammad, Trey Weiser, those guys to be ready to go. As far as others, there may be some question marks in the Longhorn lineup. We'll have to wait and see exactly what Steve Sarkisian decides to put out with this evening's injury report. But I want to say this: there's some question marks in the Longhorns. They had a tough practice yesterday, I'm told. By the way, no injuries sustained during the practice, but it was physical. And we'll see what comes of it this weekend. We'll see how it goes.
Also worth mentioning that the line has moved yet again. Remember, it opened with Texas as a 3.5 point favorite. Some books now have Texas as a 1 to a 1.5 favorite. So getting close.
Yeah, that's the whole Mateer factor.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, where are you checking in from there, buddy?
Westwood High in Palestine, Texas, the home of Adrian Peterson before he went to Palestine High. I'm actually here. When I'm not focusing here, I'm watching Kavian Bryant throw passes. They're actually practicing behind me here. I'll turn the camera for a second, but the sun's going to be in your eyes. So I'm actually here for practice this morning. Was in DFW yesterday, was at Crandall High. 2027 receiver Jeremiah Douglas quietly is one of Texas' top 2 or 3 on the board. So I was at Crandall yesterday, drove over here tonight, and there's Jeremiah Douglas. Talk about him for a second. Before we get to our football stuff, this is a kid that Texas offered May 2nd. He's a 27 receiver. He's got 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. About 5'11 and a half, 175. Obviously, there's the last big-time prospect out of Crandall is going to be a linebacker for Oklahoma on Saturday. But this is a guy that Chris Jackson, Chris Gilbert's staff they're in contact with more than once a week. He's a maybe to come out to the game. Now, Kavian Bryant and his entire family will be at the Texas OU game Saturday. They've reconfirmed that with me this morning. But this kid has a little game juice, Bobby. He's got a little game gear to him. He released a top list of schools recently. And you know what's interesting is going around to Brooke to pay attention. I guess I was down the road from you. The crazy thing you're hearing right now is there are a lot of Texas Tech and Texas as top 2s, which you just have never really heard before. I think with Texas Tech is so aggressive early in this 27 class. Jeremiah Douglas may be one of those guys too. And then Kavian Bryant, obviously, I think he will decide between Texas Tech and Texas here. And it could be late this month. We'll see on that because he's been to Tech twice already. He's been to Texas once. He'll be at the Red River. And what more is there left after that? I do think there's a good chance he commits before his basketball season starts, which Westwood's 5-0. They'll play probably 3-4 games in the playoffs, so he won't get started in basketball till late November, maybe even after Thanksgiving. We'll see. But there's I think the thing that Texas Tech is banking sounds weird in NIL era, but banking on in recruiting is Pat Mahomes is a White House guy from East Texas, went to Texas Tech, set all sorts of records, and Kavian Bryant is the East Texas guy himself. And I think outside of the other factors we talk about in recruiting, that's a big one that I think Texas Tech is trying to sell here. Now, Brian is in contact with AJ Milwee, but multiple Steve Sarkisian, multiple Texas staff members on the weekly here. So, and again, his family they'll all be at the game Saturday in Dallas. I think there's going to be a lot of kids from VFW at that game Saturday.
So, we'll talk some more recruiting here in just a moment. But first, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell us about Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam and the Lowy Law Firm have been helping injured Texans for 20 plus years. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, and think you might be due compensation, reach out to Adam and his group for a free, no strings attached consultation to see if you might be due compensation. Again, that's LowyLawFirm.com. Adam's been sponsoring On Texas Football for a couple of years now. We appreciate him very much, allowing us to do this every Wednesday morning. Thanks, Adam.
Jerry, we're going to go back to you. I know you took this picture this morning. We got some film of him as well that we're going to play, but you kind of give the spiel on.
Yeah, look, I mean, one of the best two-sport athletes in the country in 2027. He's a legitimate Power 4, Power 5, whatever you call it, college basketball prospect too, but he is leaning to, as I reported in June, he's going to be a football guy, 1A and 1B. He may dabble in basketball early on, but he'll have to make a decision there. And I think football is where his mindset is. And again, he is a tremendous player. The head coach here, Coach Bishop, was at Mesquite Poteet when Malik Jefferson and some of those guys came through. And I was talking to him before practice or during practice. He said, this is easily the best football prospect. He said once he gets there, easily the best football prospect he's ever had, ever coached, ever had. He was I think he was the OC when Alan Bowman came through Grapevine. So he's seen a good quarterback before. But Kavian Bryant's an elite athlete. His little brother, Caden Bryant, as a freshman, is one of the top freshmen in the state too, plays wide receiver, DB, and will be the other starting star guard on this basketball team, which his father's the coach of the basketball team. He coaches the running backs here. His father's a Division I basketball player. So super athletic family. Another funny thing I've said before is they're actually from Carthage, Texas. The mom and dad are Carthage graduates. So, and they were at Crockett before. The dad was a basketball coach at Crockett before coming over here to Westwood High. But Kavian Bryant's one of the elite athletes in the country in the 27 class, about 6'2" and a quarter, about 185. And there's on TexasFootball.com. There's a thread, and I have videos, photos, everything from my visit here today. But they're again, I think this is going to be a Texas Tech or Texas decision, and I think it could come in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Tech has started off so strong, Jerry. What in the 2027 recruiting? What do you push towards that? Is it their hot start, or is it strictly NIL? What is it in your opinion?
I think it's gotten to be both, right?
Okay.
I think before the season it was more NIL because people see what they were doing in the portal, right? But they're also backing it up on the field, and that's the thing. And they have a pretty quarterback friendly offense there. But again, with a prospect like this, it's how long are you? Where do you see your developmental curve? Do you want to try to play early as possible? Are you okay with potentially taking 2 years to develop? Not a lot of guys are, but I do think with Tech, it's become both. I think it was NIL a lot before the season, and I think they've done a really smart, good job of creating a lot of momentum. But now that they're winning on the field, they got the other piece to it as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Will Hammond obviously is the heir apparent there. He's the one that led them back to beat Utah the other day. He's got a couple more years left in his game. So it's not like he's going to a situation where he's going to automatically start somehow at Tech right away.
No, exactly. And by the way, somebody asked about, I don't know if Colby TS asked about John Turntine. I was at North Crowley yesterday for their athletic period. After the show, I went over to North Crowley, and John Turntine looked good yesterday. He's finally getting over that high ankle sprain. I think he's getting closer to 100%. He had that early in fall camp, and it really hampered him the first few games of the season. But by the way, they have a 2028 receiver, Demarion Mays. Some people have asked about him in this chat before. He has a chance to be an elite prospect. And I'll say this, remember the guys for the chat, I used to go to Duncanville, say they have 30 to 35 Division I prospects over there. North Crowley has 30 to 40. North Crowley is insanely talented. Coach Gates is doing a great job over there. But that freshman and sophomore class is unbelievable at North Crowley. And apparently their 8th grade class is better than that. So, but John Turntine looked really good. He's hanging around 275. I can tell you this, Coach Gates, who's had a number of guys come. He's been on our show before. Great coach. None of those guys worry about John Turntine's weight, by the way. They just think once he gets to college, he's going to put on 15, 20 pounds really quickly and end up being a guy that's about 310, 305, 310 pounds long term. By the way, he's a 610-pound squatter as a 17-year-old senior at 275 pounds. People are I think the one thing with John Turntine that I say, yeah, he's athletic. That shows up on tape, but he is really naturally strong. And now he's building all that power base around it. I think I continue to believe, I think he's going to be a tremendous football player.
Good stuff. All right. I think we have a special guest, Bobby. I'm going to let you do the introduction while I bring him in.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug Rice, Dallas, Texas X's hype man, here with us. Doug, I appreciate you coming on. I wanted you, I tried to tell everybody what was going on yesterday with the X's and how they could be a part of it. I wanted you to have that opportunity to tell them yourself, if you don't mind, this morning.
Oh, well, I always do, Bobby. Hey, look, I've got on my On Texas Football cap and my –
I love it.
mug. All right, so we're like an extension of each other, Bobby and Jerry and Blake. All right, we're all working on this as a team together. All right, here we go. So this Friday is the start of our big Texas OU weekend for the Dallas Texas X's. And we've got we start off with the golf tournament, and I know that On Texas Football will be there starting in the morning. And that is down at Firewheel Golf Park in Garland, Texas. There's still a little bit of room left. I think there's a couple of spots left if you still want to register a team. Just everything that I'll be talking about right now is at DallasTexasX's.org, not .com, but .org, O-R-G. And you can find all the links to all the different events there. But that will start off there now. The great number 12, Colt McCoy, is our honorary chairperson this year. So Colt will be there. I can't remember exactly what time he's expected to arrive, but he will be there to kick the whole thing off. He's, like I said, he is our honorary chairperson, and we are super pumped to have Colt be part of the Dallas Texas X's events this year. Then after the golf tournament ends that evening, we will be in downtown Dallas at the AT&T Discovery District. That is where that giant 104-foot building with that 8K media board on it will be flashing all burnt orange and white, saying Texas fight, hook 'em horns all day, all that evening, because that is where the bash before the clash, our big before the OU game party is the night before the game. And that starts at 6:30 p.m. There are tickets for both the VIP version and the Hook'em Hangout, which is the one outdoors. Either one, you can get tickets to either one of those if you go to DallasTexasX's.org. And then we cap that off that night at 9 p.m. at the same location. We were having the Beat OU pep rally, and always have a lot of fun with that. We did talk to the great Tony Hills, who I guess is coming on today.
Yeah, he's a little bit later.
Yeah, so you always got on Wednesdays, hump day with Tony. Well, we're going to have pep rally with Tony, and that's going to happen, like I said, he'll be at the bash, and he'll also obviously stick around for the pep rally. He'll be up there on the stage. I get to share a stage with the great Tony Hills. That's going to be awesome. I can put that on my bucket list. and then we're going to cheer on the horn for the next day, because the next day we will have the Texas size tailgate party, and that is on the state fairgrounds right outside of Gate 5, right next to the Cotton Bowl. There's usually about 3,000 Texas fans that come through the Texas X's tailgate party for the Dallas Texas X's. Always a good time. The band, there'll be a live music. Adult beverages flowing in mass quantities, getting ready so that we can hopefully get out there and get that physicality back, Jerry. Get that physicality.
Yes, we need it.
Dang Sooners!
We're going to bring it to the golf tournament if nothing else.
Awesome.
We're going to get physical on the first tee box if nothing else. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to suit up if we have to. That would be.
Hey, Doug, tell folks, do me a favor, because we love promoting the X's organizations around the country. I mean, we did it last year in Atlanta when Texas played twice there. Will you do everybody a favor out there and tell people what the organizations actually benefit? Because I think there's a reason it's .org and not .com, right? It's not a for-profit entity. Tell folks how y'all help others.
Yeah, we do. We are a nonprofit organization, and our mission is we provide scholarships for students in need, and the students in the Dallas area are the ones we have. I don't know what the number is. It's a lot. It's got to be hundreds of students apply to get the scholarship money that the Dallas Texas Exes provides, and they go through a very detailed process. We have dozens of volunteers that read through these applications and really take the time to understand that the wants and the needs of students in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that want to go to UT. And we select, I don't know what the final number is. It's something around 15 students that end up getting the scholarships. And it's a really big deal. We have some events just for the scholarship winners. And so it's a great cause. And we love doing it. And it's truly a passion of the Dallas Texas Exes to do that.
It's an unbelievable. We've been going to the golf tournament for 2 years. This will be our third year going there. And y'all just I got to be honest, it's just an unbelievable job by the Texas Exes and a great event. And all of the things that you guys do at Dallas Texas Exes is pretty strong stuff there, Doug, for you guys, including the pep rally on Friday night.
That's right. That's right. I hope you guys will stick around for that. And Bobby and Jerry, I told you you're invited to come up there with me and Tony Hills and the other people. So I'm going to see if I can hold you to it.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry may have to be at a high school football game now.
Okay.
You know how he's at Westwood High School in Palestine right now. Hey, Doug, thank you so much. But again, that's DallasTexasExes.org, DallasTexasExes.org. I'll see you on Friday, Doug. Take care, man.
Looking forward to it. Thanks,
See you
guys.
Friday, Doug.
All right,
Hooker, buddy.
All right.
Later. Good stuff. Love the X's, and I love the fact that they try to get scholarships out. Yeah, and they do such a great job. Jerry, you and I have been to a bunch of different X's organizations around the country through the years, and Dallas does a tremendous job. They really do.
Well, someone else that does a tremendous job, Bobby, is the Covas. Why don't you tell us about them this morning?
Point your toes west for Tecovas. This is the boot that I'm wearing to that pep rally on Friday night. Born in Texas in 2015, Tecovas are handcrafted with every stitch on point. Tecovas boots are made for a good time and a long time. I love the fact that when you buy them, they're already broken in for comfort right out of the box. And Tecovas makes it easy for anyone to find their favorite boot with all kinds of sizes and styles. Tecovas are simply the best boot around. I really like that they can either be daily boots or you can feel dressed up with them. Right now, get 10% off at Tecovas.com/Texas football when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at Tecovas, TECOVAS.com/Texas football. With Tecovas Best in the West guarantee, you get free returns and exchanges for 30 days. Tecovas.com/Texas football. See site for details. Tecovas, point your toes west.
And I'm going to tell everyone this morning about one of our other sponsors, and that's Prize Picks, because we make decisions daily. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And Prize Picks is simple to play. You're just going to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get those picks right, then you can cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. It's the best way to get in on sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and of course, right here in the great state of Texas. And this week, I have Ohio State quarterback Julian Sand having more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. I got another Joe Z special here, DeCorian Moore to have more than 54.5 receiving yards, and Texas Tech running back Cameron Dickey to have less than 1.5 receptions. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTexas when you sign up. They're going to give you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONTexas to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And that's Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
I've been interested to see what the Prize Picks props are this weekend for.
They haven't been released. I just looked. By the way, I got y'all said Ty Simpson from Alabama was going to light up Vandy. He threw less than 3.5 touchdowns. I just wanted to point that out while I was thinking about it. But no Prize Picks projections for Texas yet. None for Oklahoma either. So I'm not sure. Not sure what the deal
we'll have
is
to
there.
check on that tomorrow then. Hey, real quick, I want to mention this. Tyler Large had a question. Do you have to be a Texas X to be involved with Texas X's? No, you do not. They come one, come all. Wanting to get involved with in the Tulsa chapter. I've actually been up and spoken at the Tulsa chapter before. Lance Taylor, the former Longhorn player, is a big piece of that organization up in Tulsa. Tyler, do me a favor. Send me an email at ontexasfootball@gmail.com, and I'll get you involved. I'll get you coordinated or forwarded to the right people there in Tulsa. Again, that's ontexasfootball@gmail.com. And that goes for anybody that wants to get involved with the X's in any area of the country. So please do.
And I put that email address in the chat.
Thank you so much.
We've had a few questions this morning. Chris McDonald, for example, are we planning to talk about the elephant in the room at some point, that shameless article? And then Humble Hustle says, I hope y'all are going to have a segment on the trash that the Athletic released on Arch, uncalled for and unprofessional. We've had a few other comments as well. For those unaware, I'm putting this up on the screen. I'll show you a couple of different screenshots from it. But Bobby, Jerry, they had an article that they released yesterday that basically says that Arch is synonymous with failure. Y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, so I was on the road. I've not had a chance to even look at this, so I'll let Bobby comment on
how many times I've been doing this. We've been doing this. We've been doing this podcast for 3 years.
Yep.
3.5, something like that. And doing the morning show for maybe 2. I can count the number of times I've cussed or said a word I'm a little ashamed of on one hand in that time. So if you have a kid around you right now or have ears that don't want to hear this, please turn your podcast off for 30 seconds. That guy's a dick. Absolute asshole.
Yeah.
To talk about somebody like that. Arch Manning purposely and said it in the preseason. I don't deserve all of this. It has to happen on the field. Y'all are doing all this. I'm not out there parading around like I'm Mr. It. Okay? So I'm going to say, like, look, Arch Manning doesn't need me or anybody else to take up for him. The Manning family does not need that. Okay? But that sort of stuff is absolute crap. And Arch Manning is doing his best. Okay? If he's not a number 1 pick, did he go out and create those mock drafts? And is he synonymous with failure? He's 5-2 as a starter. It is ridiculous, beyond ridiculous, that the Athletic, which, by the way, is a great publication overall, would let somebody like that write what they did. It smacks of the National Enquirer. It smacks of, I don't know, TMZ. Let me think of some others that just are out there to do nothing but incite people and say crappy stuff. That, of all the things in the media today that bother me, it's that sort of stuff, where they just go over the top. And I mean, Arch is on record at the SEC media days saying, look, I don't deserve any of this. I've got to go learn. I've got to go do my work. I've got to get better. If you're a subscriber to the Athletic, cancel it.
Yeah,
that's what I would do, because I think it's crap. I think that treating a kid, I say kid, 20-year-old, I don't care what age you are, that's BS. I'm sorry. It may have been longer than 30 seconds, but
no, you're good. Well, look, obviously I was on the road a lot yesterday. I didn't even see this. I mean, I heard about it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on what was written. But I mean, are any of us surprised? I'm not surprised at all. And by the way, it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's the reality of it. And it's going to be a vicious cycle. It's going to be the most vicious cycle with any college athlete I've ever seen. I said this before. He's the first kid I ever saw get built up and torn down as a senior in high school. Maybe Bronny James a little bit, but Bronny was never really. It was a little different, right? This is like Peyton and Eli. This is a whole family, right? And LeBron is LeBron, and he has Bronny, but and Bronny was in college and obviously had the health issue. Then he didn't play much and went on to the league. This is going to be multiple years in college. It already has been, and it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before in college athletics. And I think what it's going to do is the people that need to get painted in a bad light through this will be, and I think that's what needs to happen.
I agree. Amen. You know, the person that wrote that is a complete, you know, it's just ridiculous to do that to someone. You know, guarantee he didn't go talk to Arch Manning. You know, just what a douche. I mean, just I could go on and on. The other thing that I would say for folks that are out there and reading this is, you know, fans critique folks all the time. Okay. But there is a difference between a fan and a journalist. Okay. Fans are fans. Journalists that write for the New York Times have and should be, or the Athletic, should be held to a different standard. And Will Leach, or whatever the dude, I mean, he doesn't deserve your time, period. He doesn't deserve Arch Manning's time. And I want to say one other thing, Jerry, you're comparing LeBron James and all that. Great. Football is America's #1 sport. NFL is #1. College football is #2. Well, Arch Manning, because of his relationship with his uncles, Peyton and Eli, that do the Peyton broadcast and won Super Bowls and all that stuff. I just think it's the ultimate tear down, unnecessary crap. I mean, look, I get some people that are, oh, he's not meeting expectations. This article went far beyond he's not meeting expectations. It drug him in the dirt. That's like not meeting expectations. Sign me up. I thought Arch would be better out of the gate. Now, I just say that he's not meeting expectations. They drug him through the dirt in that article. Like he's responsible for their it's just all right. I'll get off the soapbox and let Tony Hills jump on his. We need to do a commercial before we get to Tony, because I think Tony might have something to say about it if he would there. All right, let's talk about Kirby Lane. Kirby Lane All Day Cafe is serving up chef-driven, scratch-made recipes in the local Austin vibe we all love. And now dinner's better than ever. We're talking chef-driven entrees, seasonal specials, and craft cocktails designed to elevate your night out, whether it's date night, family night, or just catching up with your friends. Kirby Lane keeps it local with scratch-made dishes and the unmistakable taste of Austin. Dinner done right. Dinner from a family-owned Austin original since 1980. Explore the menu today at Kirby Lane Cafe. Sounds good to me.
It does. All right, Jerry, tell us about Gooder this morning if you can.
Boy, you know what? I don't have my Gooder sunglasses, which is wild, and I need them this morning, but they're in the car. They helped me driving yesterday. Why Gooder, you ask? Well, they're only $25 a pair. It's a 1-year free warranty, a 30-day free returns. I've never used it. You won't either. They're lightweight and comfortable, 100% polarized, no slip, no bounce. From vibrant colors to sleek styles, there's a pair of Gooders for every personality out there, designed for both everyday wear and active individuals that love to run, bike, and much more. You can wear those on a run, playing pickleball, on a hike, going to the beach, driving in the Texas heat, on the practice field in the afternoon, which I will be later, and back in DFW, because they're so affordable. You don't have to worry about losing or breaking them. You can have a pair for every single occasion. If you need a new pair of sunnies, Gooder is giving On Texas football listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/OnTexas and use that code OnTexas for free shipping. Gooder offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Again, that's gooder.com/OnTexas and use that code OnTexas for free shipping.
And without further ado, let's bring him in, the man, the myth, the legend, Tony Hills.
What's going on? What's happening, man? Listen. I understand, man. It's gloom and doom, right? It's gloom and doom, but today is a new day, right? Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That's why we appreciate the present, because it's a gift. And right now we have the gift of being able to right our wrongs. Now, listen, Bobby, I see that you let this journalist get you all irate, man. Look, I'm going to tell you like this, man. I told you I've been into this philosophy, and this is what I've come to find. Wise people speak when they have something to say. Foolish people speak because they have to say something, man. Don't give this man no legs. Don't let him come on this beautiful show and talk about the stupidity that he's uttered because he's never played a game of football in his life. Hell, he's probably never did anything sports related. He probably would get asthma just for going outside and running for a mile. So I'm not going to give this dude any credit. What I am going to talk about is our offensive continuity, right? The reality of the situation is this. Texas, we're going to take it from the top to the bottom. Texas as an entirety last week was not a representation of what we believed them to be. They would agree with that. Offensively, defensively, and special teams. Hell, the two things that have been prominent for us has been defense and special teams. We failed in every aspect. And also from a coaching perspective, I believe we failed there as well. Now, when we go to the offensive line, wasn't their best showing at all, right? And here's the reality. You know, we talk about, is the offensive line in trouble? Is the offensive line in trouble? Is the offensive line in trouble? I can tell you where the trouble starts. The trouble starts with when you don't have consistency. So what I believe Flood should probably do is he's going to have to choose. Because right now it's looking like we have 3 out of 5 linemen. We're constantly switching left guard. We're constantly switching center situation. We have to decide who we're going with. Offensive line is not a position to where you can flip-flop players. That is the most that position has to have the most cohesive and continuity aspect of it out of everything that you see on the football field. There are certain situations that we have to be in, certain experiences that we have to have. We have to understand how we drive defenders across space to pick up twist stunts. We have to understand how we all see the field when it comes to reading blitzes and dogs and, TE games and stunts. You cannot continue switching these people out. So what we have to do is we have to decide who our 5 are, and we got to roll with it. In my opinion, I don't believe that the play calling that Sarkisian wants to go with is going to fit this group of guys. I don't. I think we need to go more towards a West Coast offense. We need to get more into some of that zone running. We need to get more into that quick passes and allow Arch to make quicker reads and get the ball out of his hand. I don't know if we have the line to be able to hold up and to do drop back 5-7 yard deep shots. I don't. I believe we have the receivers that can make things happen, and we have the backs that can make things happen. And we have to flip it to where the play calling fits the strong suit of the players that you have on the field and not try to force the players to fit the system. I understand that we've had success with the system. I get that. But we also had a different talent and caliber of players, and we lost a lot last year. So those are some of the things that I see. Here's where I'll land the plane. I went back through and watched the entire game, Texas and Florida, and the only thing that I focused on was how the offense operated. And from an operational standpoint, here's what I've come to realize: the reason why our running game is not getting to where we want to get is because we're soft on backsides when we run counters. You can't pull tackles in guards and expect centers to be able to black block 3 techniques. I know Hall of Famers that haven't made that block consistently, right? When we look at the zone reads, the times that we do get pushed, here's where we're missing. The back is not stretching the ball wide enough, or we're running tight inside zone footwork with wide outside zone pathways. It's not working. It's not working. So what I'm saying is there's a lack of continuity throughout the entire side of the offense. When Arch does have time to throw the ball, he's overshooting the target because every other time he's getting punched in the face. So we have to look at things in all encompassing and not just look at it from a standpoint of reactionary. I'm not reactionary. I saw the game. I saw what I believed to be the issue, and then I went back and rewatched it, and I was convinced that what I saw was exactly what happened. The way that we're trying to get these guys to move around doesn't work. We're running play action, but we haven't established the run game. See what I'm saying when I say lack of continuity? Who cares about play action if I know you can't run the football? You're just wasting time at this point, as opposed to the mid-draw RPO. It would be better for you to catch and shoot, right? To identify where we want to go, look at the defense, and get the ball out quickly, right? Does that cause some issues up and on the back end? Because the secondary know that you might not want to take deep shot. Yeah, but then you can come back with screens to be able to extend them and get them to be softer. So there's a whole rewiring that has to take place between now and OU. Now, here's the last thing I'll say. You can continue to try to punch against the wall, but my thing is that if you continue to do the same thing, expecting different results, some would say that is the definition of insanity. So do we scrap everything and roll? Well, it worked with UCLA, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, Tony. First of all, you quoted Kung Fu Panda out of the gate. Yesterday is the past. I mean, what did I will say this for all the old people out there, and myself included. If you haven't seen Kung Fu Panda, it's an animated movie that I actually liked to watch when my kids were little. So
I got kids.
All right. Next part of this is you mentioned consistency.
Yeah.
And what you want to see out of the offensive line. Texas last week went with Nick Brooks to start the second quarter.
Yep.
They went down and scored. Nick Brooks had all kinds of problems in pass protection. That's the left guard, true freshman. But I am hearing that he is going to start on Saturday again. So you're going to have a first-year starter and
time
redshirt sophomore at left tackle, a true freshman at left guard, a fourth-year senior at center, a fourth-year senior at guard, and then a true sophomore at right tackle. That's a young offensive line overall with just two older guys.
Yep.
Is that part of it? Are these guys actually? I know we have to play them because they're the best we've got right now, right?
Yep.
But do they have more left in them to give this year, or is this just what we should kind of expect from this offensive line going forward? Because Florida made mincemeat of them, not only physically, but athletically. I mean, Arch had not only were there 6 sacks, there were 20 or 15 some odd pressures. He's running for his life.
Yep.
What are reasonable expectations when you go play a Oklahoma team that's got 20 plus sacks on the season?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I can see the cause for pause and the concern. I understand it. Here's what I'll say. Sometimes the best results happen in simplicity, right? Maybe we have to become more vanilla because we are younger, right? The plays that we did have success on, Bobby, were the ones where we were running zone with tight ends cutting off on the backside, because you shore up the backside and you're able to create lanes. The one time that you saw Brooks in that he did do some things that were pretty positive was when we were going on the goal line we had the bootleg and we scored. The play before that, we got 5 yards of push between him and the left tackle. So that goes to show you that it can be done against the physical defensive line. But what I believe is this. Sarks likes to do a lot of motion, a lot of movement and things in the backfield. Here's the aspect that I'm going to give you guys from an offensive line perspective. When you go up to the line, you have a certain amount of time to be able to identify defense, to discover what it is that they're trying to do, where they're trying to attack you at. When you have multitude of motions, that switches linebackers, which then can switch calls. So if I had a front side linebacker ID, now we run in motion at the last minute. Now we have to be able to communicate that we're switching the point of the mic ID to backside. So some of us would do that. I know when we were in school, we would hit it with a righty or a lefty or a lucky or a loosey, which would then tell us to identify who we are because it switches our assignment. This is how important this stuff is. It switches our assignment. If there's a lack of communication, and we're not getting that done within the time frame, it destroys the entire play. And it looked like that's what I was seeing. I would see guys like on the sack that the 93 had in Florida when we were on our back end side. That was just straw got beat inside. So I understand why you're going with Brooks, because if I put you in here and I'm putting you in a one-on-one situation and you're losing inside, that's the one place you can't lose. I would much rather you get beat outside and be able to extend possibly to give Arch a chance, but you can't lose inside as a guard. The other time is when we're sliding and we're doing slide protection and you're passing off to air. There's nowhere for you to go. You're jumping down inside and creating gaps. You're causing your own problems. So that's the reason for the switch, right? We have to simplify. And I'm sorry, it is what it is. But what I've learned is when you do simplify things and people understand what they're doing, it allows them to play faster. This young fella is going to have to grow up in a hurry. That's the reality of the situation. It is what it is.
Against Jaden Jackson, by the way.
Yeah. I don't care who it is. You got to grow up.
Yeah.
So they brought you here for a reason. You believe you can play big time ball. Take the next step. We've all had to do it as athletes. Why the hell do you think they recruit us? It's because they saw something in us and they believe that we could do it at the next level. So if I'm Brooks, I'm shutting everything and everyone out. And all I'm doing is looking at film and getting reps. Prime example, I played Tommy Blake at TCU years ago. Tommy Blake at one point in time was supposed to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. After I finished with Tommy Blake didn't even go to the NFL. But you want to know what I did? I shut everybody out. Mama tried to call me. Nope, mom, you ain't getting me this week. Family want to reach me. Nope, family, you ain't getting me this week. I went to school. I went home. I changed. I went to the weight room and I went to the film room. And that was my routine because that's the focus that you have to have. So if they're not putting in that type of work, then that's what we're seeing on the football field.
Tony, I want to ask you too about this because I just didn't like the lack of physicality as a whole I saw Saturday.
Yeah,
that was more troubling than individual play for me.
Yeah.
Is that why get on the plane and go play at Florida if you're not going to be as match physicality and actually understand what you're getting into? That's what troubled me the most in that game as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. That's not a coaching thing. That's an individual effort thing. We've heard Ray Lewis speak about these particular things. The one thing that I can't do for you is show you how to increase your effort. You're on a national stage. You got a team that is literally ranked at the bottom in every statistical category. And they took you to the woodshed. They punched you in the mouth. They took dinner off your plate. They took food from your family and you did nothing about it. So I'm with you, Jerry. And as exuberant and as excited as I get because I love the game of football, I am pissed off about that. Absolutely. Absolutely, I'm pissed off about that because that is something that you control. If I get beat, I get beat. But God damn it, at the end of the game, you're going to walk up to me and be like, hey, bro, listen, dog, I'm finna be in this cold tub, man. It was, hell of a fight. Yep. I'm finna get that. You sitting up here playing like a powder puff team and representing the University of Texas ain't going to operate. It ain't going to work. It's not going to work for us that put in that type of work and understood what playing in them trenches mean, what we sacrificed to help build Texas. And it shouldn't work for you. But maybe it's the NIL era. I don't know. Because for me, there was a certain hunger. I grew up in A-Leaf, Texas. A-Leaf freaking Texas at one point was the murder capital. Wasn't no going back. It wasn't no going back.
That's right.
I was going to make it because there was nothing to go back to. Maybe that was the drive. Maybe that was the hunger when my body was tired, when I got blisters on my feet, when I got dislocated fingers and elbows, and I'm saying, hell no, strap it up. If it's dangling, it can move. Get me back on the football field. Maybe that was what it was. I don't know. But what I do understand is as a man, you cannot allow what we saw as Texas fans, as Texas, with the pride that we have, you cannot allow that to be out there. We can take a loss. We can't take a loss like that.
No. Now, Tony, there's two things that fans will always find that they will not come to grips with ever and shouldn't it's lack of physicality. And then if you have lack of discipline in your play right around that lack of physicality, those are the two things nobody will ever accept on a football field from a fan base to former players or whatnot. And I tell you what, and Tony, if Oklahoma, to your point, if Oklahoma and Texas fans don't walk out of Cotton Bowl Saturday saying, man, that was a physical battle, that was not the same Texas team that played against Florida, they brought it physically, then there's an issue. Bottom
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
I agree. And you know what? And it's so funny, man, because isn't that what Florida was experiencing prior to us? What wasn't the world telling them about how they look offensively, how soft they're playing, and all of that? What you saw when you went to Florida is you stepped into a buzzsaw. You stepped into a group of young men that said enough is enough, and they made the decision that today on this football field, regardless of record, regardless of statistics, today we're going to be the better team. We're going to punch you in the face, we're going to punch you in the mouth, and we're going to continue to do that. And look, it wasn't just one side of the ball.
No.
You took what our strength was defensively and literally marched them down the field and punched it in the end zone. When we scored, you said, all right, cool. We're going to come back and not hit you with a field goal. We're going to march you down the field and punch you in the face again. Then special teams, right after giving up 17-7 and we going 3 and out, you give up a block punt. So what I saw was a team and a coaching staff that was left scrambling for answers, right? So I don't care that the score is 29-21. Everybody that watched the game understood that the game was not close. And we could talk about the plays that the defense made. We did. We made plays, right? But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And again, it's the physicality and it's the aspect that you are Texas. There's no way in hell that that's what you're supposed to be putting out there on the football field. And if this message is not being portrayed by the players in the locker room, and if you have, and I don't know this, this is all me just speaking freely from the heart. If your coaching staff is not on your ass for every minute, small detail, if you're not hitting something hard enough and we're not saying run that mother lover again, we have an issue that ranks from the top down, not just from the players.
Tony, I don't even know what to ask you next. I
do.
Go for it.
Did you have an oatmeal cream pie this morning? Where's your hoodie? That's what you ask him.
Yeah, no, today I came with the professional look because it deserved a professional spiel. You understand? But I tell you what, though, guys, I can't wait to see y'all when y'all get down here. I got the lady in there in the kitchen cooking like the chef that she is. So we're gonna have some surprises for you guys. Now, look, here's what the people want to know. Blake, are we gonna get that smooth voice down here in Dallas, Texas this year, man? What we doing? What we doing?
I probably am going to come up there this weekend, but it's going to be Saturday, not Friday.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. I'll have something for Blake.
Hey, Tony, he's got a young kid. Tony, he's got a young kid playing high school football, man.
Yeah,
you got to give him a chance. I do have a question for you, Tony, and this is kind of my. I look at this and I hear your passion. Okay, are we? Is that really, like Jerry says, physicality and discipline? I think it's passion too that fans want to see.
Yeah.
And maybe that I was talking to somebody yesterday actually, and like they see a lack of passion in the offensive line and in the defensive line at times. Is that because it really feels it's not just physicality, it's the joy of doing it and getting after it time and time again. And that's kind of what they're not seeing.
Yeah. Listen, everybody that knows me, when we did the show down here in Dallas and I was on 3rd and Longhorn, one of the things that DJ said is like, man, where does that come from, man? Like you were always, even as a young guy, you was always, passionate about, coming in. You were always passionate about wearing the burnt orange and white. You always put in the work and the effort. Where does that come from? Man, that comes from the standpoint that this game raised me. Football raised me, man. I didn't have first of all, I don't want to discredit this woman at all. Mary Lemons is everything to me. That is my mom. She did the best that she could possibly do. But the one thing that my mom said to me when I was in the middle school, and I agree with to this day, is that I'm your mother and I cannot teach you how to be a man. I can instill toughness in you. There are certain things that I can share with you, but I cannot teach you how to be a man. So she did put great men around me. But the game of football taught me how to overcome adversity, taught me how to not be emotional being yelled at because I made a mistake, to listen to the message as opposed to the messenger. The game of football taught me how to overcome adversity. The game of football showed me that when I put all my soul and my effort into something, just like life, I can still lose. Do I have enough resolve in me to get up and go do it again? Football gave me that. So why in the hell would I disrespect the game by not giving everything that I can to it? So that's the issue. These kids don't move like that. They don't move like that. At least I can't say all of them, but at least from what I see,
at least they did against Florida.
Yeah.
Your point. Yeah.
But at least from what I see, like, who's in the locker room going nuts because we're not playing to our standard? I don't know. I know that I was that guy. I know that Studdard was that guy. Vince was that guy. Hell, as Colt got older, we started seeing it from him, even as a freshman. So, like, I don't know the answer to that, Bobby. I can only speak about me and the people that I was around and what it meant to us. But it better mean something to these dudes. And I don't know, man. Like I said, maybe it's the NIL era, right? I'm paid, so maybe some of that passion is gone. I don't know. But when I do know this, I've seen it from the top, that there are some guys that play the game hard as hell to get to a particular point economically, and then after that, the passion leaves. And then there are some guys like the Peyton Mannings of the world, like, hell, say what you want to say about his play, but it's when it comes to passion, the Tim Tebow's of the world, guys that I've played with, Ryan Clark's, Troy Polamalu's, hell, one of the most passionate players that I've ever played with in my life was Brian Dawkins. When you're around these particular individuals, how can you not be? So I don't know. But I do hope that somebody in that locker room steps up and says, that's the last time we're going to put something like that on film, and they hold everybody to the standard. And then the reality is this: what is the standard at Texas? The slogan is all gas but no brakes, but all I saw was brakes. I saw no gas. So what is the standard? Is it physicality? We didn't see it last week. Was that a fluke? Do we see it from the remainder of this season?
Better.
I hope so.
Better. I mean, because look, now it's on tape. Everybody, unless it changes Saturday in a big way, it's on tape. And everybody that plays against Texas is going to think they can out-physical Texas.
We had that narrative already, Jerry, before we came in there and changed it.
Yep.
Oh, Texas is going to get all these star players, but when it comes to playing OU, they soft. So I don't know. I don't know, man. But I tell you what, you're right. You put it on film, and you're the only you guys on the field that are out there representing the 11 on offense, defense, and special teams. Y'all are the only ones that can change the narrative that y'all just put out there.
Yep.
To hell with expectations about, national championship and college football play. Y'all shouldn't even be talking that talk. Y'all need to be talking about 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, one play at a time. Hell, 1 minute, 1 second at a time. That's what y'all need to be focused on, because what we saw out there, that's not going to work for anybody. And I've talked to guys that have played for this, that have worn these colors, and they're pissed. They're pissed, and rightfully so, because that's not the representation of what we helped to build. So I get it.
All right, Tony, I'll see you on Friday, dude. And I will say this: if you have never heard Tony speak in public, it is very strong. He brings a passion each and every time. You'll be out there. We had Doug Rice on with the Texas X earlier up in Dallas. He said you're going to be out there for the bash before the clash, as well as the pep rally on Friday night. Tony, hopefully you're there with us on Saturday at the Cotton Bowl as well. I'll talk to you a little bit later about that. But Tony Hills, thank you very much for bringing the passion to On Texas Football every Wednesday. We appreciate you very much, buddy.
Hey, man, appreciate you guys, man. Hook 'em, baby, for life.
All right. Take care of yourself, man.
Tony.
Hey, by the way, Tony, oh, man, I missed him. It's 9:12, and you still, you know what?
All right. Let's see here. I'm about to have to get out of here, fellas. So I'm going to tell you all about Mint Mobile, and then Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Adam Lowy, and I am going to leave on that note. So let me talk about.
We'll stay on. Hey, we'll stay on though. We still have some more time. Blake's got to go to a point.
Sure. All right, so you know what doesn't belong in your epic plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill while you're planning trips, barbecues, maybe those 3-day weekends for Texas football games. Your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. But with Mint, you can get the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited amount of time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium service for just $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you're going to be chilling, literally and financially. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/ontexas. That's mintmobile.com/ontexas. An upfront payment of $45 is required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigs on the unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Adam Lowy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, reach out to our friend Adam Lowy of the Lowy Law Firm. He and his group can give you a free consultation, no strings attached, to see if you might be due compensation. Again, if you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, ATV to 18-wheeler, no matter what it is, and think you might be due compensation, reach out to Adam and his group. They've been helping injured Texans for 20 plus years. He's a UT Law School grad and happy to help you guys out. Again, LowyLawFirm.com. Thank you, Adam. And also, thank you, Blake. I know you got a doctor's appointment you got to get to. Jerry and I will take care of it from here, buddy. You take care of yourself.
Hey, Blake, I got good news. You can change that to 26.
Change what to 26?
26 days since he's been muted. He can change it. He survived another show.
There you go. Hey, Jerry, quick recap for those just joining us. You're out at Palestine Westwood High School. Kavian Bryant, the quarterback there.
Yeah.
You were also at the wide receiver Jeremiah Douglas's school up in Crandall. You were at John Turntine's school yesterday in North Crowley. Give folks just a 2-minute update on recruiting, given that you've been out and about and are doing this from the stands of Westwood High School football.
This is the hottest I've felt in a live stream in a while. I'll say that sun is it's a beat down right now. But yeah, yesterday was a big travel day. I went to Waxahachie on Monday, stayed in Midlothian after our shows, drove to North Crowley for the noon workout, watched those guys. And it was more of a weight room workout. Just, I'd seen those guys a lot before, but just kind of catching up. Coach Gates does a great job there. I think they're the most talented program in the state right now, freshman through senior class. And that's not a knock on Duncanville or anybody in the chat. I don't want anybody to, because Duncanville's was that way for like 5 years with me. I think North Crowley's insanely talented right now. Heck, they may be battle for it in basketball right now too. Their whole school is very talented. But on football themselves, I stopped by through there. Watch a weight room workout, caught up with those guys, talked to John Turntine for a while. Demarion Mays, the sophomore receiver, is an absolute stud. They have a freshman corner that's going to be an absolute stud. He's playing for them on that team, defending state champion in 6A as a freshman, leads them in interceptions. Tons of talent over there. They have a sophomore linebacker who has got a chance to be an absolute dude too. I think his mom was a track All-American at Texas Tech. He's got a chance to be a dude. So much talent over there. Turntine's he's hanging in there about 275. He's getting past that high ankle sprain, which really hampered him early in the season. CJ had reported on that when he was at their scrimmage. Then I made my way to Crandall, kind of drove the 58 miles over to Crandall High, down there by Kaufman, Seagoville area. They have a junior receiver, Jeremiah Douglas, who has not been talked about enough, but is one of the top 2 or 3 in-state wide receivers for Texas in 27. He's got about 20-25 offers, and Texas is one of those, and he may be at the game. John Turntine, by the way, and a number of North Crowley guys will be at their Texas OU game Saturday. That'll be Turntine's 3rd in a row, by the way. But Jeremiah Douglas in contact with Chris Jackson, Texas staff, at least once a week. He is a guy that they really like in 27, has a couple of long kickoff returns. I think he has 31 catches for 450. I've written about all this at ontexasfootball.com as well. And then I made my way over to Palestine last night because I was texting with Coach Bryant, Kavian's dad, the basketball coach here, and he said, "Hey, practice 6:30 in the morning." I said, "All right, I'll be there. I'll make my way down there." So I drove over there, got up. I'm up anyways, but it was fun to be on a practice field to watch Kavian Bryant this morning. A little sunrise football practices, maybe a good thing for the soul, especially this week. But Kavian Bryant, I think, is getting closer to a decision between Texas Tech and Texas. And those are the only games he's been to this year. He's been to Tech twice. He's been to Texas once. Him and his entire family. His little brother's a stud freshman wide receiver. Dad was a D1 basketball player at Mississippi Valley State. They're all from Carthage High. The mom and dad are from Carthage. But I think a decision could come, late October, early November. I don't think it's too far off for Kavian Bryant, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. And I know there's a lot of Texas Tech chatter with him. East Texas, Pat Mahomes was White House, and there's a lot of stuff there. Obviously, Tech's very aggressive in this 27 class. They're on the phone every week with AJ Milwee, multiple Texas staff members, Steve Sarkisian. So we'll see which way it goes, but it's not far off. And after this, got to record a couple of shows, and I'm headed back to DFW for an afternoon practice.
All right, good stuff, Jerry. Hey, we're going to reach into the chat line now and get some questions answered that you guys have posed during the chat. Let's start with Alex Thomas, super chat here. Jerry has said over and over again the last 3 years, there's no excuse for being young and inexperienced at a position group in the transfer portal era. When we were talking to Tony, that's one of the things I did mention. Trevor Gooseby, even though he is considered a really good player, he's relatively young. Nick Brooks is a true freshman. Brandon Baker is a true sophomore. 3 of the 5 starting offensive linemen now are very young. We have a first-year starter at quarterback. What are your thoughts about?
Yeah. So when I've said this before, when I say young, I mean starting too many freshmen all over the place, right? Like if you've been in a program for 3 years and you take over as a starter, you may not have game experience, but you're not an young football player, right? So I kind of want to make sure people understand what I've been saying on that stuff, and I've kind of repeated that over the years with that statement but I do that's where I come out on this. I just don't, in the portal day and age, you should not be playing too many freshmen or guys across the board who have been in the program just 1.5 years. That's a tough place to be in college football now, and you see the difference in some of those teams because I think college football is becoming more so like college basketball to me. Like if these power programs, you're churning a third of your roster every year, whether it's high school recruits, portal, guys going to the NFL, whatnot. You're almost like a basketball team. You're starting over and building your team over first third of the season. Then you kind of start to build it out. So the only way you can kind of fight that is to not be too inexperienced at a lot of places. And again, I stand by that. But again, I want to point out what I was saying. If you're a third-year player in a program, even if you have 1 start or 2 starts or no starts, you're not an inexperienced player in a program. You've been developed over time, even if you played sparingly in some games. So there's levels to all that. But if you have too many true freshmen out on a football field or too many very young players, I think at the end of the day, it makes it really tough.
This is what my take on that. Ideally, Brandon Baker would have had another year of seasoning. That's my personal opinion. So Nick Brooks, ideally, another year of seasoning. Trevor Gooseby, you're right. I agree with you. But that's my take on it. And I do think that, Jerry, fundamentally, you're correct in that there is no excuse for being young right now. The concern, one of the other concerns I have is Texas put a lot of eggs in the Cedric Baxter basket. And or the fact that Jarrett Gibson or Christian Clark and or James Simon would come on and help support that. Well, with Baxter out right now, Wisner's being forced to carry the load. And frankly, he's many things. He's not big enough really to handle some guys in pass pro. He gives it his best shot and, does everything, but some bigger guys can move Trey Wisner and pass pro. All right, let's go to this one because I think this is also a good question. Sugarcane Daddy, is Texas Tech disproving the SEC recruiting advantage? Jerry, I had something I wanted to mention here. I feel like Texas Tech is carving out a niche for itself right now. And I don't think it's the SEC recruiting advantage that it's disproving. I feel like Texas Tech is trying to be like Oregon was 20 years ago. They're trying to carve out their own little niche, not tied to their conference, which is what Oregon did. But I'm talking about 20 years ago with the Phil Knight. Cody Campbell's trying to do the same thing at Tech. It's not the SEC or the Big 12, whatever. They're trying to go that direction with an uber successful business person kind of leading the direction and spending money like it's water, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You agree that has nothing to do with the SEC, because there are always outliers. Dabo Sweeney was an outlier at Clemson. That's what Tech is trying to do, to be an outlier. You agree with that?
No, I do. 100% agree with that. And dispel the SEC. No, no. It's like the SEC and the Big Ten are going to be the most talented leagues year in, year out. And it's only going to get more so as they add more teams to the league in the future in 2031 or wherever that is. So, no, I agree with you on the plans at Texas Tech, 100%.
Yep. Okay. So people are asking if is there a tailgate Saturday? Yes, there is. It's inside the Cotton Bowl or the State Fair, and it's the Dallas Texas X's tailgate. That's where Jerry and I will be on Saturday morning. So please step out and come see us there. Jerry, this one's from Blake. How self-aware do you think some of these offensive linemen are? Sark took a chance on them, especially at left guard and center. I don't think anything is surprising Cole Hudson right now, guys. There are many issues on this offensive line. I'm not sure center is one of them. Left guard is different. Left guard, it's Nick Brooks. They went with him on in the second half or second quarter and stayed with him the whole game. Based on what I've heard, I don't think that's changing during practice this week. I firmly expect Nick Brooks to be your starting left guard, barring some sort of injury on Saturday against the Sooners. So, but the better question is, how self-aware do you think any of these offensive linemen are about their troubles right now, Jerry?
Well, we're going to find out Saturday. I don't know what else to say. Like, you're going to know Saturday.
Yeah.
If it's not the most physical attempt at football we've seen from Texas since January 10th of 2025 in Jerry world, then there's problems.
Yep. Brian Alfaro. Yeah, I get it. I agree with you, Jerry. Brian Alfaro, if Brandon Baker needs 2 years, the NIL dollars invested is too much for a player to sit. That type of dollar needs to be paid to players who can contribute sooner. Brian, you're not wrong. There is the ever-going discussion whether or not you get the guys on campus and let them develop, or bring in guys that have already developed elsewhere. The reality of it is maybe there's a mix there, which is what they do at a lot of places. And so we'll see exactly how that works out. But the die is cast for this year. They got to do what they can right now with what they've got. And the Longhorns have a huge game coming up. There's no two ways about that. We got to see what they can do this weekend. All right, Jerry, this is something we're going to talk about a little bit later today. Is the OU run game better than Florida? From Corey B. No, it is not.
No, not even close.
Now, Jaden Knott may play this week. The California transfer. We'll see how that goes for them, and if that changes the OU run game at all. I would say it is better if and only if John Mateer is full go, because he brings a different level of run game to that even Florida couldn't produce, because DJ Lagway was basically playing on one leg most of that game.
Yeah, look, the reality is that unless Jaden Knott is healthy and what he was 2 years ago at Cal, before his injuries kind of set in, that was the most probably as alarming as once you get past it, just not showing up with the physicality needed to play in the swamp against the University of Florida in your SEC opener, which you can never get past that in my mind, is that Jaden Ball's a 10-year NFL guy, and they couldn't run the ball against Miami or LSU. He had 46 yards in both those games, and outside of one drive in both those games, you wouldn't have known that he was a 10-year NFL back, because those teams, Miami beat up Florida like Florida beat up Texas physically. Just the reality of it. And so and I've said before, if Oklahoma establishes a running back run game Saturday, they haven't done it all year. And Blaylock, the freshman from Atascocita, is a speed back. They're going to try to get him to the edges with that QB run game stuff with him. But if Oklahoma establishes a running back run game Saturday, that is a very bad thing, because they haven't been able to do it to anybody this year, not named Kent State or a G5.
And Texas, and I would say this too. I mean, Texas did not push for Blaylock, correct? And he's playing as a freshman. Yeah. Another freshman playing a lot for OU, Michael Fasusi, the offensive tackle. I believe he's going to start in this game for the Sooners. And then also Cortland Guillory out of the Houston area. Be aware of that. He's a corner that has been picked on a little bit by Sooner opponents.
All right, and and somebody in the chat tell me if I'm wrong. I think he's starting because there's been an injury this year. I don't think he was. Yeah,
but
good player.
Still,
he's going to be the guy. Yeah.
Big Jake, is Florida's D line that much better than Ohio State's? Because we weren't near this bad in week 1. I will tell you one place they are unquestionably better: the 2 defensive tackles. Now, I don't know about the edges, and I don't think the Florida linebackers are as good as Ohio State's, but the 2 defensive tackles were much better at Florida than they were at Ohio State. And that's saying a lot, because Ohio State's very, very talented.
And by the way, Florida's best guy didn't even play, Caleb Banks. I mean, their first round graded guy going into the season didn't even play.
All right. Parth Brooks says we'll know everything we need to around 5:30 Saturday. I think he's right. 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Look, and I want to say this. Even if, let's just say Oklahoma wins a game, I don't know, say it's some really unbelievable physical battle, and Oklahoma wins it 23-20, 2017, 17-14, whatever it is. If the fan base, and we can talk about it Saturday night and Monday, if we can say that was a different team than showed up to Florida, you have a chance this season to kind of right the ship, fit from a physicality standpoint, and the passion and energy and discipline standpoint. If you see more of the same, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to know at 5:30. There's no doubt. No doubt you'll know.
Yeah. I'd like to see Texas capitalize on opportunities this year. I don't know that I've seen them do that in big games. They certainly didn't do it against Florida on Saturday with the double pass, block punt, down to punts. I mean, open receivers deep, that kind of stuff. Clayton Gerngross, this will be the last super chat for today. Morning, fellas. At what point do we start replacing guys with players that will play with that physicality and passion? Well, you saw it at left guard, and I'm not saying that Connor Stroh doesn't have physicality and or passion. I'm not saying that, because I think he probably does. But I think you're starting to see, okay, look, we need to get some other guys in here to see what they can do there. Clayton, I think it started. Cade Phillips, played 15 plays against Florida. He's another true freshman. We'll see. We'll see, Clayton, where that goes.
By the way, I want to bring up Seth. Okay. 100% true. We will actually know around 3 p.m. Yeah. If it looks like Florida, you got issues.
Well, yes, and that's true, but also it's got to be sustained. I'll lean more to 5:30, I guess. It's nice to come out with energy for one series.
Yeah,
a lot of people can do that. It's got to be sustained, or they're not a football team. Not one that's going to have any aspirations of major success. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football. Thank you to all of our sponsors: Lowy Law Firm, Prize Picks, Gooder, Mint Mobile, Tecovas, Kirby Lane, all those guys. I want to mention one other real quick. If you are going up to Dallas, either from Houston or San Antonio or Austin, make sure you check out Vaughn Lane. Remember, use promo code OTF25. That's OTF25 to get $20 off. A lot of people use Vaughn Lane. I know people that are even chartering a bus from Houston to Dallas this weekend so that they get there safely, etc. Don't have to worry about all the traffic. I-35 and I-45 will be heavily trafficked this weekend if you're going. So make sure you check out vaughnlane.com as well. All right. Vaughn Lane is almost sold out. Better book now. Thank you, Parth. I appreciate that. All right. That's going to do it for On Texas Football's Coffee and Football. Thank you also to our host every morning. That's Blake Monroe, as well as Jerry Hamilton. Jerry, get back on the road.
Time to get on the road
in a little bit. I'm Bobby Burton. You guys have a good one. Hook 'em horns. Thanks also to Tony Hills.